The sky was angry that night. Urav pressed his thin body against a cold brick wall, watching the rain hammer down like tiny fists. His stomach growled. He had not eaten since morning, when a kind baker gave him half a bread roll. Now the bread was gone, and his belly felt like an empty cave. He was only 10 years old, but Urav knew the streets better than most grown-ups. He knew which corners were safe. He knew which shopkeepers would chase him away, and which ones might smile. He knew how to make himself small and invisible when danger came near. Tonight, he had found shelter under a broken streetlight. The light flickered on and off, like a tire heartbeat. Around him, the city slept behind locked doors and warm windows. Urav pulled his torn shirt closer. It did not help. The cold found him anyway. Thunder roared across the sky. Urav closed his eyes. He imagined a different life. A life with a soft bed. A life with a mother who sang songs. A life with food that filled his belly every single day. But when he opened his eyes, he was still here, still alone, still cold. The rain poured harder. Suddenly, through the sheets of water, Urav saw something moving. A shadow. No, not a shadow. A boy. A boy running fast, splashing through puddles, his clothes soaked and sticking to his skin. The boy was crying. Urav sat up straight. Even on the streets, even when life was hard, Urav had a good heart. He could not ignore someone in pain. The boy stumbled and almost fell. He looked around wildly, his eyes red and full of tears. Then he saw Urav under the flickering light. "Please!" The boy shouted over the roar of the rain. "Please help me." Urav stood up slowly. The boy ran toward him. As he got closer, Urav noticed something strange. This boy's clothes were fancy, silk and cotton, the kind rich people wore. His shoes were expensive, even though they were now covered in mud. Around his neck was a gold chain that sparkled even in the dim light. This boy did not belong on the streets. "Please," the boy gasped, falling to his knees in front of Urav. "You have to help me. My father is dying." Urav's heart jumped. "Dying?" "Yes." The boy grabbed Urav's hand. His fingers were soft, not rough like Urav's. He collapsed at home. His heart. Something is wrong with his heart. The doctor said we need to get him to the hospital immediately, but our car broke down. The driver ran to find help, but it's taking too long. Every second counts. Urav looked at the boy's face. Fear lived there. Real, deep fear. The kind of fear that made your whole body shake. "What's your name?" Urav asked quietly. "Aryan," the boy said. "My name is Aryan. Please, will you help me?" "I'm Urav," he replied. Then he asked a question that burned in his mind. "But why did you come to me? I'm just a street kid. I have no money, no car, no power." Aryan's tears mixed with the rain on his cheeks. "I ran away from our house because I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I just ran. And then I saw your light." He pointed at the flickering street light above them. "I thought maybe someone here could help. Maybe someone would know what to do." Urav's mind raced. A rich boy asking a poor boy for help. It seemed backward. It seemed impossible. But Aryan's tears were real. His fear was real. And somewhere in the stormy night, a father was dying. "Where's your father now?" Urav asked. "In our car, 2 streets away. He's unconscious. My mother is with him, crying. She doesn't know I ran away." Aryan's voice cracked. "I'm so scared, Urav. What if he dies? What if I never see him smile again?" Urav knew about fear. He lived with it every day. Fear of hunger, fear of cold, fear of mean people. But he had never known the fear of losing someone you loved, because Urav had no one to lose. He was already alone. Maybe that was why he could be brave now. "Okay," Urav said firmly. "I'll help you." Aryan's eyes went wide. "You will?" "Yes." "Take me to your father." They ran together through the storm. The rain was so heavy that Urav could barely see 3 steps ahead. Water rushed down the streets like rivers. The wind pulled at their clothes and tried to push them backward, but they kept running. Urav's bare feet slapped against the wet ground. Stones cut into his skin, but he did not stop. Beside him, Arian ran with all his strength, even though his fancy shoes were slipping on the slick roads. "There!" Arian pointed. "That's our car." A big black car sat tilted on the side of the road. The front wheel was flat. Through the rain-covered windows, Arav could see a woman in the back seat. She was holding a man's head in her lap. The man was not moving. Arian pulled open the door. "Mother, I brought help." The woman looked up. Her face was pale and wet with tears. When she saw Arav barefoot, dressed in rags, soaked to the bone, confusion filled her eyes. "Arian, who is this?" she asked. "His name is Arav. He's going to help us save Father." The woman looked at Arav for a long moment. Then, maybe because she had no other choice, maybe because she saw something good in Arav's eyes, she nodded slowly. Arav leaned into the car and looked at the man. His face was gray. His breathing was shallow and weak. Arav had seen sick people before on the streets. This man was very, very sick. "We need to get him to a hospital," Arav said. "Fast." "But how?" Arian's mother cried. "The car is broken. My phone is dead. The driver has been gone for 20 minutes. I don't know what to do." Arav stepped back into the rain. He looked up and down the empty street. Most people were hiding from the storm. But there, in the distance, he saw headlights. A car was coming. "I have an idea," Arav said. Then he did something crazy. He ran into the middle of the road. He stood there, small and soaked, waving his arms in the air. "Stop," he shouted. "Please stop. We need help." The car's headlights grew brighter. It was coming fast. Too fast. Arian screamed, "Arav, move! You'll get hit." But Arav did not move. The car came closer and closer, and just when it seemed like it would crash right into him, the brakes squealed. The car stopped just 3 feet away from Arav. A man jumped out, his face angry. "Are you crazy, kid? I almost killed you." Arav pointed at the broken car. "A man is dying. His heart is failing. We need to get him to the hospital right now. Please, sir, please help us." The man's anger melted away. He looked at the broken car, at Arian's crying mother, at the unconscious father. Then he looked back at Arav, this brave, crazy, selfless street kid standing in the rain. "Get in," the man said. Quickly, hope, like a tiny flame in the darkness, began to glow. They lifted Arian's father as gently as they could. The man who stopped his car, his name was Mr. Sharma, helped carry him. Arian's mother supported his head. Arav held the car door open, rain pouring down his face. "Carefully, carefully," Mr. Sharma said. They placed the unconscious man in the back seat. Arian's mother climbed in beside him, cradling his head in her lap again. Arian squeezed in on the other side. "You too, boy," Mr. Sharma said to Arav. "Get in." Arav hesitated. He looked down at himself. His clothes were filthy. His feet were muddy. Rich people did not usually want street kids in their cars. "I'll make the seats dirty," Arav said quietly. Mr. Sharma's eyes softened. "A man's life is more important than clean seats. Get in. Now." Arav climbed into the front seat. Mr. Sharma slammed the doors shut and jumped behind the wheel. The engine roared to life. "Which hospital?" Mr. Sharma asked. "City General Hospital." Arian's mother said, her voice shaking. "It's on the other side of town. They have the best heart doctors." Mr. Sharma's face went serious. "That's 15 minutes away. In this storm, maybe 20. "Please hurry," Arian whispered. "Please." The car shot forward like an arrow. Arav had never been in a car before. The speed made his stomach flip. Through the windshield, he watched the rain attack the glass in waves. The wipers moved back and forth, trying to push the water away. Mr. Sharma drove like a man on a mission. He swerved around puddles. He honked at slow vehicles. He ran through yellow lights just before they turned red. In the back seat, Arian held his father's hand. "Stay with us, Papa," he whispered. "Please stay with us." Arav turned around and looked at Arian. Their eyes met. In that moment, even though they came from completely different worlds, they understood each other. They both knew what it felt like to be afraid. They both knew what it felt like to hope. "We'll make it," Irv said. "Your father will be okay." Arian nodded, tears streaming down his face. "Thank you for helping us." "Thank you, Irv." The car splashed through a deep puddle, sending water spraying up on both sides. The storm seemed to be getting worse, not better. Thunder crashed so loudly that Irv jumped in his seat. "Almost there," Mr. Sharma said, squinting through the rain. "Just a few more minutes." But then the car started to slow down. No, no," Mr. Sharma muttered. "Not now." "What's wrong?" Arian's mother asked, panic rising in her voice. "Traffic," Mr. Sharma said, hitting the steering wheel with his palm. "There's an accident ahead. The road is blocked." Irv looked out the window. Sure enough, 3 cars were tangled together in the middle of the intersection. Police lights flashed blue and red through the rain. People stood around in raincoats, trying to direct traffic. "We can't wait," Arian's mother cried. "We don't have time." Mr. Sharma thought fast. "There's another way. A back road through the old market. It's narrow and rough, but it might be faster." "Do it," Irv said firmly. "Do whatever it takes." Mr. Sharma turned the wheels sharply. The car veered left, away from the accident, down a small side street. The road was bumpy and full of potholes. The car bounced and rattled. In the back, Arian's mother held her husband tighter, trying to keep his head steady. They passed closed shops and dark alleyways. Irv recognized this area. He had slept here once, behind a fruit stand. These were his streets, his world. "Turn right at the next corner," Irv said suddenly. Mr. Sharma looked at him in surprise. "You know this area?" "Yes, I live here. I know a shortcut." "Guide me, boy." Irv felt something strange and powerful growing in his chest. For the first time in his life, his knowledge of the streets, the thing that marked him as poor and forgotten, was valuable. He was helping. He mattered. Straight for 2 blocks, then left at the tea shop. Irv instructed. Mr. Sharma followed his directions perfectly. They zipped through the narrow lanes, the car barely fitting between the old buildings. Rain hammered on the roof like drums, right at the lamppost, then straight until you see the big gate. "You're an amazing kid," Mr. Sharma said, a small smile breaking through his worried face. Finally, through the sheets of rain, Irv saw it. The hospital. Its white walls and bright lights looked like a beacon of hope in the darkness. "There," Irv pointed. "We made it." Mr. Sharma pressed the gas pedal hard. The car flew into the hospital driveway and screeched to a stop in front of the emergency entrance. "Help!" Arian shouted, jumping out. "We need help." 2 guards came running with a stretcher. They wore blue uniforms and serious faces. Behind them, a nurse in white hurried out. "What happened?" the nurse asked. "My husband," Arian's mother sobbed. "His heart. He collapsed." The guards and nurse moved quickly. They lifted Arian's father onto the stretcher and rushed him through the hospital doors. Arian and his mother ran after them. Irv stood in the rain, watching them disappear inside. Mr. Sharma came to stand beside him. "You did good, boy," Mr. Sharma said. "Very good." "I hope he lives," Irv whispered. "Me too." Suddenly, Arian came running back out. "Irv, come inside, please." Irv and Mr. Sharma followed Arian into the hospital. Inside, it was bright and clean. The floors were shiny. The walls were white. Everything smelled like medicine and soap. Irv fell out of place. His muddy footprints marked the clean floor. People stared at him, this dirty street boy in their nice hospital. But Arian grabbed his hand and pulled him forward. "This way." They rushed down a long hallway and stopped outside a room with big glass windows. Inside, doctors in green clothes surrounded Arian's father. Machines beeped. Lights flashed. Everyone moved with urgent purpose. Arian's mother stood at the window, her hands pressed against the glass, praying silently. Minutes passed like hours. Then, suddenly, the lights went out. Everything went dark. "What happened?" someone screamed. "Power outage," a nurse called out. "The storm must have knocked out the electricity." Red emergency lights flickered on, casting everything in an eerie glow. Uruv's heart pounded. In the operating room, the doctors were shouting. A young doctor burst out of the room, his face covered in sweat. "We need blood," he announced. "The patient needs a transfusion immediately. Type O negative. Do we have any in storage?" A nurse checked her clipboard, her hands shaking. "The blood bank is in the basement. Without power, we can't access the refrigeration system safely. It will take at least 15 minutes to get it manually." "We don't have 15 minutes," the doctor said, desperation in his voice. "He'll die." Arian's mother collapsed against the wall, sobbing. "No, please, no." Arian stood frozen, tears pouring down his face. "Papa," he whispered. Uruv felt something pulling at his heart. A voice inside him spoke clearly. "Do something. Be brave." He stepped forward. "What's type O negative?" The doctor looked at him, confused. "It's a blood type." "Why? Can any person give it?" "Only people who have type O negative blood can donate it. It's rare." "Why are you asking?" Uruv took a deep breath. "Test me." Everyone turned to look at him. "Test me," Uruv repeated, louder this time. "Maybe I have it. Maybe I can give my blood to save him." The doctor blinked in surprise. "You're just a child." "I'm strong," Uruv said. "I'm healthy. Please, just test me. We don't have time to argue." Arian grabbed the doctor's arm. "Please, sir, let him try." The doctor looked at Uruv, this brave, selfless street boy who was offering to save a stranger's life. Then he nodded. "Come with me. Quickly." They rushed to a small room. The doctor pricked his finger and put a drop of blood on a special card. He waited, watching the card carefully. 10 seconds passed. 20 seconds. 30. Then the doctor's eyes went wide. "It's a match. You're type O negative." Arian gasped. "Really?" "Yes." The doctor said, looking at her with wonder. "You can save him." Uruv felt dizzy, not from fear, from purpose. For the first time in his life, he could do something truly important. "Then let's do it," Uruv said. "Let's save Arian's father." The doctor placed a hand on Uruv's shoulder. "You're very brave, young man. Come with me." As they walked back toward the emergency room, Uruv looked at Arian. The rich boy was crying again, but this time they were tears of hope. "You're going to save my father," Arian whispered. "You're really going to save him." Uruv smiled, a real, genuine smile. "We're going to save him together." Uruv lay on a bed next to Arian's father. His arm was stretched out, and a thin tube connected them. His blood, his life, was flowing into the dying man. The doctor watched the monitors carefully. "You're doing great, Uruv. Just stay still." Uruv nodded. He felt a little dizzy, but he did not complain. Through the window, he could see Arian and his mother watching. They had their hands pressed together, praying. The minutes felt like hours. Uruv closed his eyes and thought about his life. He had never imagined that one stormy night could change everything. He had never imagined that he, a nobody from the streets, could save someone's life. "Almost done," the doctor said softly. Uruv watched his blood travel through the tube. It was strange and beautiful at the same time. Part of him was becoming part of someone else. They were connected now, forever. Finally, the doctor removed the needle from Uruv's arm and placed a small bandage on it. "You did it," the doctor said, his eyes shining with respect. "You saved his life." Uruv sat up slowly. "Is he going to be okay?" The doctor checked the monitors. Arian's father's heartbeat was getting stronger. His breathing was deeper. Color was returning to his face. "Yes," the doctor said, smiling. "He's going to be okay." Arian and his mother burst into the room. His mother ran to her husband's side, touching his face gently. Tears poured down her cheeks, but now they were tears of joy. Arian ran straight to Uruv. Without warning, he threw his arms around him and hugged him tight. "You saved him." Arian sobbed into Uruv's shoulder. "You saved my father. How can I ever thank you?" Uruv hugged him back. "You don't have to thank me. I'm just glad he's alive." Arian's mother turned to look at Uruv. She walked over slowly and knelt down in front of him. This rich, elegant woman in her expensive clothes knelt before a poor street boy. "You gave us everything," she whispered. "You gave us our family back. You are a hero, Arav, a true hero." Arav felt his cheeks grow hot. "I'm not a hero. I just helped." "No," she said firmly, taking his dirty hands in her clean ones. "You are more than a hero. You are a blessing." The power came back on suddenly. The lights flickered to life. The machines beeped louder. It was as if the universe itself was celebrating. 3 days passed. Arian's father woke up on the second day. When he heard what happened, how a street boy had saved his life, he cried, not from sadness, but from gratitude and shame. Shame that he had lived his whole life without seeing people like Arav, without helping them. On the third day, when the doctor said he was strong enough, Arian's father asked to meet Arav. Arian brought Arav to the hospital room. Arav was nervous. He had been staying with Mr. Sharma for the past few days, sleeping on a real bed for the first time in his life. Mr. Sharma had given him clean clothes and warm food, but Arav still felt like a street kid inside. Arian's father sat up in his hospital bed. He looked at Arav for a long moment. Then he smiled, a warm, genuine smile. "Come here, son," he said. Arav walked closer slowly. "What's your name?" "Arav, sir." "Arav," the man repeated. "The boy who saved my life. The boy who gave me a second chance." His voice broke with emotion. "How old are you?" "10, sir." 10 years old, and braver than most grown men I know. Arian's father reached out his hand. "Thank you. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my family." Arav shook his hand. It was strong and warm. "You're welcome, sir." Arian's father looked at his wife, then at Arian, then back at Arav. "We want to do something for you. We want to help you. What do you need? Money? Food? A place to stay?" Arav thought carefully. "I don't need money, sir. I just want to go to school. I want to learn to read and write. I want to be someone." Arian's father's eyes filled with tears. "You already are someone, Arav. You're extraordinary. And yes, you will go to school. The best school in the city. We'll pay for everything." "Really?" Arav's voice was barely a whisper. "Really? But more than that." Arian's father paused, looking at his family. They all nodded. "More than that. We want you to come live with us. We want you to be part of our family." Arav's heart stopped. "Live with you?" Arian jumped up excitedly. "Yes, you'll have your own room, and toys, and we can play together every day. You'll be like my brother." "My son is right," Arian's father said. "You saved my life. You gave me a future. Now, let us give you one. Let us be your family." Arav could not speak. His throat was too tight with emotion. All his life, he had been alone. All his life, he had dreamed of having a family. And now, because of one brave choice on one stormy night, that dream was coming true. "Yes," Arav finally whispered. "Yes, please." Arian's mother pulled him into a hug. "Welcome home, Arav. Welcome home." 6 months later, everything had changed. Arav lived in a beautiful mansion with Arian's family. He had his own room with a soft bed, clean clothes, and more food than he could eat. But the best part was not the things. The best part was the love. Arian's family treated him like their own son. They celebrated his birthday for the first time ever. They taught him to read and write. They showed him that family was not about blood. It was about choice, love, and sacrifice. Arav went to school every day. At first, the other kids stared at him because they knew he came from the streets. But Arav did not let that stop him. He studied hard. He made friends. He learned and grew. Arian and Arav became true brothers. They did everything together. They played cricket in the garden. They did homework side by side. They told each other secrets late at night. But they never forgot where they came from. They never forgot the rain. They never forgot the lesson. One day, Arian's father called both boys into his study. "I've been thinking," he said. "Arav, you saved my life. But in doing so, you taught our whole family something important. You taught us that wealth means nothing if we don't share it, That privilege means nothing if we don't use it to help others. He pulled out some papers. So I've decided to start a foundation, a charity that will help homeless children like Urav used to be. Will provide food, shelter, education, and love. And I want you two boys to help me run it. Urav and Arian looked at each other, their eyes shining with excitement. What will we call it? Arian asked. Urav smiled. The Rain Promise Foundation. Arian's father nodded slowly. Perfect, because on that rainy night, a promise was made. A promise that love is stronger than poverty. That courage is stronger than fear. That humanity is stronger than everything. Years passed. The Rain Promise Foundation grew and grew. It helped hundreds of children. It gave them food, homes, and education. It gave them hope. Urav and Arian, now teenagers, visited the streets often. They went to the exact spot where they first met, under that flickering streetlight. The light had been fixed now. It shone bright and steady. But they kept a photo of how it used to look, broken and flickering. As a reminder, do you ever miss the streets? Arian asked one evening as they stood under the light. Urav thought about it. I miss the freedom sometimes. But I don't miss the hunger. I don't miss the cold. And I definitely don't miss being alone. You're not alone anymore, Arian said, putting his arm around his brother's shoulder. You'll never be alone again. Neither will you, Urav replied. They stood there together, two boys from different worlds who became one family. Above them, the streetlight shone bright. Around them, the city hummed with life. And inside them, gratitude and love grew like flowers after the rain. Epilogue. On the anniversary of that stormy night every year, the entire family gathered for a special dinner. They invited Mr. Sharma, who had become like an uncle. They invited the doctor who saved Arian's father. They invited children from the foundation. At the table, Arian's father would stand and give a toast. To Urav, he would say, raising his glass, the boy who taught us that true wealth is not measured in gold, but in goodness. That true strength is not in power, but in sacrifice. And that true family is not born, it is chosen. Everyone would cheer and clap. And Urav, sitting beside his brother, his mother, and his father, would smile. Not the nervous smile of a street kid trying to survive, but the confident, joyful smile of a boy who knew he was loved. The rain had brought them together, but love kept them that way, forever. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs hope today. Subscribe to hear more stories about courage, kindness, and the power of human connection. Because every act of love creates ripples that change the world.